So we got some news about 2XKO, Sajam's in it, and let's check it out.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Riot Games. I snuck in here. I've been invited to chat with two very lovely people, of course, Tom and Sean, about something very special today. I'm not exactly sure what's happening. They just told me to come in here, you know, hang out, play some video games.
Oh wow, the echo slowdown.
We're here to talk about our first playtest towards the end of this year. It's going to be in August, calling it Alpha Lab.
I love that.
This is the
Alpha
next
Lab
step
is a good
in
name.
building
It's a
this
really
game
good name.
Together with players, and so this is going to be a very early version of sort of our first draft of the whole game, not just core gameplay.
So it's
The
not
whole
just
game?
the two characters on screen hitting each other and then assists coming in and stuff like this, but the actual around that, playing online against other human beings.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
So it's going to be an online play test. Offline play is there, but it won't be in this test. And
Okay.
you'll be able to play from at home, PC or Xbox or PlayStation 5. But the whole experience of like how you get into the game, what are the things to do other than fight? We have some great ideas, and we put them together in a little package. And so it's going to be a little jank, but that's kind of the point.
They're really
It's important
trying
that we
to
hear your
push out
voice
this
at an
product
early enough stage where we
and
can actually
have
make
it
changes.
up
Yeah, and I get the
for
sense that
us
this
to
is
actually
really
get a
just the
taste of
bones
it,
right? Like, the
so that
gameplay
that
is
way
there
they
for everybody
the
to master on
resources
half
they're
the time, but the
spending on
bones
it
and the outline of
makes
all of the other
sense.
systems in the game, like how you play against other humans, what the UX and UI and stuff like that looks like, all these other features around the game besides like I'm playing and hitting another character on the screen. So when people get a chance to play this at home, what kind of feedback are you looking for? You're not just looking for, I'm the EVO champion and the frame data on this needs to be different. You know, you're looking for everything, right? Like I went to play against my friend and it was hard to figure out how to play against them.
Yeah.
Or, like,
So
these kinds of
not
things.
like this is kind of
are
what
you
we've been
looking for and
talking
what kind of
about
feedback is helpful
for
Yeah, exactly.
like
This is our first
our
draft of like sort of the whole
like
game
from
loop,
the
right?
footage
So
we've
how do you get
covered,
into the game? How do you like play with your friends?
you want to be able to
We're
like
trying some
see
things that
how the
are,
game feels to
some
you,
things
not
that are
because
conventional
someone
be
like
familiar
pro
to
player
you,
was
some things that are
playing.
new. And we want to get your feedback on how it's all holding together. What's your wish list? Like based on what you're seeing, like what's missing?
Tag me in.
Yeah. Sean, tell us about the kind of cool things that we're looking for.
Epic tag and
To Tom's
fail.
point, and kind of to your earlier point, this is really early, right? And so when it comes to the type of feedback we want,
Oh, we're gonna
we
get to see
really do wanna
Jill's?
hear everything.
Nice.
Even like the push the glasses up, like actually that stuff's helpful.
Yeah.
You know, the larger parts of the game, the around game, even though it's very early, we want to hear about it.
Yeah, I get the sense you guys have direction. Like this is what we're thinking about doing. So, you know, it seems like feedback of like whether you think that's a cool place to go or not is good. And to your point that Tom just mentioned, it's not just, oh, this is all the stuff in the game, this is what I like about this, but things that are missing. If you're like, oh, I really wish this feature was in the game, right? Maybe you guys are already planning it, but maybe it's something you weren't thinking about and it might be useful, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're long-time fighting game players, and we just want to make a better future. And this is like the first step there, and it's the first step of many with players in this capacity where people can take it home and play with it.
All right, so this test is coming out. People are going to get a chance to play it. So when I boot up the video game, if I get in, when I boot up the video game and it's time to play, like what do I have my hands on?
First and foremost, you know, we're going to let people that get in be able to invite one
Okay.
other player to come in and play the game, which is really exciting. So,
Nice.
You know, you get in there with a friend. And you're going to see the champions that we've seen so far up through EVO Japan and Combo Breaker, but there's going to be a new champion.
I
to
feel
try
like
out.
that's gonna
So
be
you'll see
Jinx.
things like, you know, Ari,
Because
who
Jinx
will
is the
have,
only
a
one
little
that's
bit of updated
missing
kit, a little
from
bit
the
easier to play,
original
still have that
announcement
ceiling. You'll see
that
other things like we'll
hasn't
have
been
a
a
new
scene.
fuse,
We've seen Echo,
called
we've
Pulse
seen
Fuse,
Darius.
which is the
We
recommended way
actually
to
got
play. It
Lowy
makes it,
before
much
her, so
easier
I
and more
have a
quickly
feeling
combo
it's gonna
quickly,
be
as
Jinx
well as
that's
some,
gonna be
changes, based
available.
on feedback we've heard around how long combos are. So we're reducing some of the outliers, and also we're upping some of the special damage and early combo damage to just make matches go a little bit more quickly.
Every time I see you two, they're like, yeah, you know, last time you guys mentioned this. It's basically been like every time I talk to somebody on the team, it's like, you know, you guys mentioned this last time, and in this build, this is new. So tell me what you think about it, right? It's been almost always.
They're so like
universally, hey, some
receptacle
change or
to
something that
feedback.
somebody
It's
mentioned last time,
it's just
like, in this
different
version, so
from
it's
other
been some time
companies
since
that are
happened,
like,
but I wanted to
yeah,
talk
we
about
heard your
the fuse
feedback,
that
and then
you're
we don't
talking
see
about.
that in
So
their
what's this new
feedback.
fuse situation like?
And it's nice to
Our
see it from
aspiration
this
for
team.
game is to make a game that's really fun right away, both for experienced players and like whatever your skill level like with fighting games. If you're brand new, if maybe like you played a lot of fighting games but you haven't played this kind of tag fighter, or if like you're, you know, really into tag fighters, like no matter what your background, we want you to have fun right away.
And so we try a lot of things, and one of the things we land on is this pulse fuse. The way it works is you can mash light, medium, or heavy, and it will lead you into an auto combo.
Right.
And so just mashing light, this is what you get.
Interesting.
And so, that's great. And if you mash medium, you get this.
Yeah, spend some meter.
Yeah, and spend some meter and it'll go into a super. And if you mash heavy,
Interesting.
it goes right into your ult.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you have the
Interesting.
meter, to go into the ult. So it
Right.
kind of
Okay,
protects you
I
that
do
way.
like
But
that.
The really cool thing about this fuse as well is you can flow between the options. So like, you can hit this light, get into an air combo, switch to medium, and now all of a sudden it goes right into the other super. Once people start getting comfortable switching,
I do like
between
that.
the
I
different
love that
lines of auto
breakdown.
combo with Impulse, then they can start maybe like, oh, cool, I can kind of get an idea of how this character's combos work. I can see the basic building blocks,
Right.
what comes after what. Then they could try it on their own and maybe like lead into an advanced fuse.
And also, all your manual options still work while you have this fuse.
I was gonna say this whole time you've been on Pulse Fuse doing all these fancy combos and stuff, but like if you want to, you can also do the auto combo.
That's
if you're
great.
playing
So
with a
your
friend
fuse
who's
is
new,
basically your
and they pick
different
the Pulse Fuse,
fighting
'cause they're
game
learning the
styles,
game,
similar
they
to
can
like
do
how
all
in
kinds of stuff.
BlazBlue and
One of the most important
Guilty
things for
Gear
us is
Xrd
being able
are.
to play with your friends.
And
we're
that's
hoping that this
huge
could
because
also be
then
one of
they're
those
saying
avenues, to
it
better
really
enrich
doesn't
your
matter
playing
your skill
experience
level.
with
You
someone
can
brand
you
new.
can do
They're having a
this.
good time. You're doing the more advanced stuff. You're actually playing the game together still. And again, like they can take that next step at any time.
The option there is really, really nice, especially the onboarding is so much better when you have something like this that helps people out.
I actually find myself sort of dipping in and out of Pulse Fuse, like when we're testing a new champion, and I'm like, okay, what does this character do, right? And then I say, okay, these are my bread and butters. This is kind of what the champion's all about. And then I try to do it manually, and then I can quickly. It's just a quick way of onboarding to the character by playing and not like watching videos or.
Like anything, tell us what you think about it.
Yeah.
When you're playing with it, you're trying it with different characters, when you're trying it with a friend.
Yeah, and that's something I'm really curious about is like when someone else plays it, if playing with their friend liked using it, or if their friend immediately jumped off and was like, cool, I'm gonna go do, this now, and like I'm gonna learn the regular combos. I'm really curious what people think, and when I teach people the game, I will definitely recommend them to try this right at first. But I was gonna mention on your topic about gameplay changes, you mentioned Ari has changed.
Yeah, she
quite a bit.
has
So
changed a
what's the
lot.
difference between the character from before to now? Because for me, I didn't end up learning her because I thought, well, this is gonna take me some time. Like she was a character that I was like, I think the floor is probably pretty high here, so when I have time at home, I'll learn the character. That was sort of the way I looked at her.
That's pretty crazy because you picked up Echo, which is like one of our more
Right.
advanced characters, right?
Yeah. Well, I learned him, and I didn't have time for Arin. That was kind of what happened. I was like, I'll spend my time on Echo, and then whatever everybody else does with Yasuo, I'll steal that.
Ooh, are we hurting each other for sports?
One
God,
thing we've
she
heard a
looks
lot
so
about Ari
cute.
is that people love how she looks, how she plays, and then when they play her, they're like, oh man, this is an ammo system I have to manage. This is a really hard hump to get over. And a lot of the feedback we got was, oh hey, when I hit this S1, it just uses all my ammo up. And then I have to like find space to get it back. And most people can't do that, nor is it that exciting, right? So you still see the 3 Foxfire charges, but there's no more like using the ammo and then having to manually recharge it. Before,
So
when
they
you hit
tried to
S1,
go
it
like
would
a
be
Happy
barrage
Chaos style
of,
to her.
Foxfire blast, and now it just shoots a single Foxfire. But if you hit it a couple times, she'll do multiple hits. So you can just like do something really acrobatic and fun and use her magic. But if you hit it a third time, she does this Rekka. But there's counterplay. So if you do it again, and I was any good at it, we could show you the counterplay. So you can.
There you go.
If they're too predictable, you can hit her out of it. And she's also got a down S1. Before, this used to be a bomb that would use all of your charges, but now what it does is it creates this shot that homes in on you after a delay.
Yeah, homed on the area.
And so,
Wow, they
it's a
really
little bit
changed
slow,
her a
but
lot.
As you'd expect, you can actually do some really cool setups with it. So
I'm
we'll
not
go ahead and show you
complaining.
one
I
just,
think
like, quick example
that's a
here, where
good
if you call the
example of
assist
like the
and you switch to
receptive
him,
to feedback
it
that
still hangs
like
out on the
they've
screen,
gotten
right?
about
And
her.
it's gonna go after you as well. So
And it's true,
y'all
she
show
did
us
look like
what
she
quick
was gonna
setups
be
you can
really
do with
tough
this
to
thing.
learn.
Yeah,
So
and I think she's like visually, she's really, really cool, and obviously she's really popular. People like the character a lot, so it makes a lot of sense that people will be picking her up, and they're like, "Oh, cool, she's like so new. I want to play her. She's really awesome." And they try, and are like, "Oh God, I don't know what's happening." So these changes, especially these 2 changes together, seem like you're trying to figure out ways for new players to jump in and then have access to things faster while retaining that kind of skill ceiling for people long term. Which I mean, the last champion we saw, Lowy, obviously she has like the just frames and all kinds of wild stuff in her tentacles, and I found that she was a really complex champ with a lot of things going on. So yeah, it is cool to see the design side of both of those things.
I sort of reject this notion that like if you make it good for beginners, then it's sort of is bad for experienced players. We want both, right?
They're
That's very
trying
hard.
really
And
hard.
with Ari,
And
we
it
found
is a
that, like,
hard
we were really
thing.
nailing it for like the high school players, but we
Right.
were just missing for like new skill players. And so now everything that Sean says is like, how do we like raise the bar for everyone?
We're just like wanting people to like get to the fun quickly, feel like they can have an impact right away, and then cool, get into that flow state. Let me just get one more. And it's very tricky, right? Because it's a team game. We have to think about dual play. If you kill one champion too quickly, how does that feel? And we're super interested to know from everybody playing and everybody watching, like, hey, like, what does the game feel like now? You know, did we go far enough?
Yeah, is the game too fast? Like, is everybody like, oh gosh, I got in there and died in 5 seconds? With versus games in general, when they're newer, the games tend to take a little longer because people don't have fancy combos and stuff, but yeah, people were developing them pretty fast.
It's so true. I keep saying that about Mortal Kombat, even though it's not a true
versus
versus game, it's just a tag-based game.
It made a lot of sense.
It's one of those games where at first nobody had the optimal combos, so they were slower, like the games were slower. But the only reason you see slower games now is because you have the experienced players figuring out the neutral on it. But damage-wise, it's still a fast game. Or rather, it's like a faster game
We're
before.
making this game for you, like the general you, of course, but also the general you out there, right? That's all there is to it, right? Like, we're in it to make a game for the FGC that can be something that players enjoy for a really long time.
You've been talking a lot about feedback, you know, give everybody feedback. How do you give people feedback? How does that work? Do I just like send you a pigeon, or is there some kind of way that I communicate with Riot Games? I just write Dear Riot like it's Santa, or how does that work?
Right, so if you are in the playtest, we'll be sending out surveys, and so please fill out the survey. If you're not in the playtest, we're gonna let folks who are in the test stream, right?
Yes!
Social media.
We're gonna be able to
Not just go with the
stream.
surveys, we're gonna look at sort of the broader conversation that's happening around this video game.
I love
The other
that. Oh, I
thing
got
is, thank you,
goosebumps. I got
everyone who signed up in the
goosebumps.
past. For this one, you're going to need to sign up again. Sorry about that. And the instructions and how to do all that, we just put out an article on our website, and it's also linked in the description of this video. So check
I'll
that
have
out.
all the
Please
links
sign up
down here
again.
in the video
Yeah,
too,
sign up
by
for
the
real.
way.
Yeah, sign up for real. Or if you've already signed up again.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure everybody is down to sign up again. I'll be signing up again. So who can get involved? Like, what places on the planet can I check this out? Is it everybody? Is it certain places? How are you rolling this out?
In this first one, we're starting with a few select regions. It'll be on PC and console. We'll widen that out as we get closer to launch. But for now, this is our first sort of contact with like the player base at large, and so we want to like keep it a little bit contained. And this is sort of like an inflection point for us. Every single time players get their hands on this game, they teach us something new about it. And that's like our whole approach. We're literally making this game for the FGC. If you guys don't love it, then we're doing something wrong.
So we've been chatting about this
So
for a while.
excited.
It sounds
I
like
want
everybody's gonna be able
so
to
badly
sign
to,
up, get
like,
involved, which
play.
encourage you to do
I
that.
so
Also,
badly
check out
wanna
the YouTube
play.
description, Wherever it is, sign up, make sure you get in there. But what else is, should we be looking forward to in this? Is there gonna be more news, more information? Is it just like you guys are vanishing off the face of the earth until this thing is out? Like, what should I be looking forward to?
Yeah, for sure we'll have more information about like how this works and what's going to be in it in the weeks leading up to the test. And if you're going to EVO, you'll be able to take a sneak peek at the build there.
Nice, cool. So it'll be there, playable. Local play is in it.
Local play
I
is
want to
there that-
emphasize that
yes.
local play exists.
Yeah, to be
Yes.
clear, that will just be the local play version of it,
Yeah.
and so all the around game stuff we talked about will come at the alpha level.
This is our
Oh
first
my
step in sort
gosh.
of the next leg of the journey. As we get closer to launch, there'll be more of these. Not sure quite when. A lot of it will be based on what we learn from this test and how long it takes us to respond.
Sounds like a plan. So thanks for you two sitting down with me and inviting me in here to chit chat about the game.
Let's go to XKO. I can't wait. I hope I get into the Alpha Lab. I will stream that nonstop if I get in.